I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and part 2 of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 full video review starts in just a second. But first, special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for giving us tablets, phones, and more for use in our One Paw Band-Aid giveaway game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your contacts, your web, your settings, LTE, and more. So when you walk out the door, you're maximizing your device at Best Buy Mobile. Here we go, part 2, Galaxy Note 10.1. Let's take a look in the full video review. Part 2 of a review video, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. If you like the Note, you like the phablet look and feel, and you like the S Pen, well, this is basically a larger version of that. That said, this does have more functionality, and this is a little bit more closely aligned with the Note 2 in terms of new features as opposed to the original Galaxy Note that's kind of sandwiched in somewhere evolutionarily speaking between the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy Note 2 in terms of software evolution. But let's jump right into part 2 and take a look here, and we'll go back into the applications, and we're going to start with a quadrant standard test just to get an idea of what speed tests are like on this device, because it's packing a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core Exynos CPU, so it's running right now, and we'll let that do its thing. Now, otherwise, this device has been really fast. Love the quad-core CPU. It's funny because, looking at some other reviews, I've noticed that some people are complaining of slowness or some lag and delay. I haven't had any issues at all with this device. It seems to be relatively quick. The only complaint that I've had about it is in terms of the display. You're paying $500 for this tablet, and you're paying $500 for an entry-level iPad. The display on the iPad, thanks to Retina display, looks so much better than the display on this. Colors are much more vibrant, and that's something I think when people are looking at shelling out $500 for a piece of or a piece of technology, a tablet at that, they're not going to want to spend $500 and have a subpar display. Otherwise, you got to decide, does the display issue offset it by the fact that there's so much more content creation abilities on this device as opposed to the iPad? So that's something to keep in mind as you make your decision. But again, micro SD card slots, so you can increase the storage space. That's always a pro. And then we'll cover the cameras right after this. 7,000 milliamp hour battery here, so overall battery life has been pretty decent on this device. I haven't had any issues there. Obviously, the screen's been on full brightness throughout this review, so it's not doing so hot at the moment. But 4,951 in quadrant standard, 4,951, which means relatively fast, little to no lag. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. It's been nice and zippy in everything I've thrown at it. And again, multitasking ability is the ability to do kind of multitasking split screen stuff. Offsets that as far as I'm concerned. Let's take a look as well at videos, because I wanted to show you something I talked about in part 1 but didn't exactly get a chance to cover as much as I would have liked. You get your helicopter video here. You can see that the video is running as we're sitting in the video player. So it's running right now even though the video isn't fully loaded. I can click on it when I'm ready, and we'll do helicopter, and we'll take a look at what the video looks like on a full screen. And you can see right there. Let's get some sound up in here. There we go. So you can see overall pretty decent display, but that said, it pales in comparison to other HD displays and in the Retina display on the iPad. But one cool thing you can do is go from there, and you can of course move it around on the display, so you can keep it over here and run that in the background much like the Galaxy S3 while you're working. So I can go into Gmail, for example, send and receive some emails, keep the video playing in the background. So I think it's those multitasking abilities and those kind of things that really draw people to Android. Not just nerds, but consumers as well. Maybe you want to watch a video, but you need to do an email. And this has been my biggest pet peeve with tablets in the past. Let's say I'm on a plane. It's like I'm in the middle of watching a video, and I'm like, I need to send and receive an email, or send an email to work, or something like that. I go out of the video, go into email, and I've got to pause the video, whereas with this, you do not have to do that. And you can not only keep it playing, but move it around on the display. So I can go to New here, for example, and keep typing, although I would have a little bit of an issue typing when the video is over the keyboard, but you can see it's still playing, and I can click on it and bring it right back into the video, and when I'm done, I can bring it back down, right back in, and there you go. So it's easy, and then I can end it out when I'm done. So those little features are really nice, and again, something that's really impressive about this device, and the speakers being on the side means sound has been relatively impressive as opposed to them being on the back. So when you lay it down on a tray table or you lay it down on the desk at your office, the sound gets a little bit muffled. Not the case over here. Let's also take a look. Let me flip back through here. I want to show you one more thing. Let's see, what was it? Let's go to contacts and take a look at that actually as well, because I want to show you Sammy Samsung. Not sure who Sammy Samsung is, but Quick Brown Fox, we know who that is. And you can see because of the larger display, I've got two different columns here where I've got my contacts up here. I can scroll through, and then I can see detailed contact information over here. So overall, really maximizes the 10.1-inch display, and you get that over on portrait side as well and in landscapes. You got that ability, and then up here, the ability to add, edit, throw away, and then of course your menu button where you can do all your contact stuff from there. So overall, very impressive. Let's take a look at camera. Last but not least, 5-megapixel camera on the back. And even though it's hard to take a picture with a tablet, you get the full range of products here when it comes to video. Go ahead and record in 720p, or it does record in 720p, I should say. Unfortunately, you can't take still shots here. What you can do is do video, obviously. I can flip it back to camera, and then with camera, I have a couple of different options. I can flip the camera around to the front-facing camera. I can do this with flash. I can do my scene modes, or shooting modes rather, with I can't talk today, Buddy Photo Share. I can come down here and change it to negative, black and white if I want to. Sepia. Let's go down here and take a picture of this coffee cup, for example. And again, 5-megapixel camera, it's decent, it's nothing too amazing in comparison to the 8-megapixel shooters, but again, you're dealing with a tablet here as opposed to dealing with a smartphone, but still, portrait to landscape, very responsive, and pinch to zoom, very responsive all around. So the lag-wise, little to no lag thanks to that quad-core processor, but the camera could have been better, but then again, are you really using a tablet to take pictures and holding it up like this, or are you more concerned about the front-facing camera for video calling, which we'll take a look at as well. As you can see my shirt too. Let's see here. Take a look at the front-facing shooter. Hello! And so you can see, front-facing camera, pretty decent as well. Good for video calling. This should be my profile picture for everything on PhoneDog.com. But you can see, quick and easy to take pictures there. And of course, for video chats, it seems to be a relatively clear, nice picture, and it's crisp as well. So you get Dropbox integration, you got your email for enterprise, and you got your settings like I showed you in part 1 with all your different options for customization. Motion is pretty cool as well. I'll close out with that. We'll go into internet, and if I have motion enabled, which I should have it enabled, when we go to PhoneDog.com, I can use my thumbs and zoom in and zoom out using those. So let's see what we can do here. Get rid of the advertisement, and let's see. There we go. So I can zoom in and zoom out just by putting my thumbs on the device. So as soon as I focus, or as soon as I move it up, it zooms in. When I move it down, it zooms out. That's a pretty cool feature, and it's one of those you don't think you'll use, but you use it surprisingly often when you get used to using it. So that's I said using it a lot in that sentence, but that's okay. It's a pretty cool feature, and all in all, for $499.99, is it pricey? Yes. Does it go head-to-head against the iPad? Absolutely, and it offers some things that the iPad doesn't offer. Conversely, you've got to decide what's more important to you. Is it more important to have the S Pen? Is it more important for content creation? Is Android a thing for you? Maybe you like the Play Store. You like the way it looks. You like the Google integration. You like the fact that you can put Google Drive on here without a hitch, or use Gtalk on here without a hitch. Apps, music, magazines, movies, TV, and books, all from Google Play Store, and an easy-to-see tablet interface. Perhaps you like the iPad. Perhaps you're entwined into the iTunes ecosystem. You don't want to get away from that. In that case, your iPhone and your iPad are going to be the devices for you. That said, with a review, this isn't a dogfight, so obviously I don't have to declare a winner, but with a review, you got to decide the pros and the cons. And the pros about this, it's a great content creation. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best Android tablet on the market right now, with the exception of maybe the Asus Nexus 7. It depends on whether you want that stock Android feel in a 7-inch tablet, whether you want this in a 10.1. I'm the type of person that is surprisingly, or finding it surprisingly useful to have the content creation over here. So for me, this S Pen, when I used the Galaxy Note, I thought it was totally useless for like the first 15 days. Then I decided it was a great thing, and I used it on a regular basis when I was working with the Galaxy Note as a smartphone. Same thing over here. This may seem useless to a lot of people. It's actually very functional, great for taking notes, and that great to have around. And thanks to that and the multitasking, it offers a really great value proposition with the multitasking here, and with the multitasking in general when you're in something like browser and you want to go to multi-screen and you want to play the video player, you want to look at the gallery while you're doing this. That type of stuff is awesome, and Samsung's really doing a good job across the board in their product portfolio, not just with the Note 10.1, but in general with the Galaxy S3 and the Note 2, of really distinguishing themselves with software. Android's saturated, a ton of Android smartphones, a ton of Android tablets. It's all about saturated, and it's all about distinguishing yourself with great software, and they've done a pretty decent job with that. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the Note 10.1. All in all, very impressed with it. Is it worth $500? Well, you got to decide if you want a tablet first, and decide if you want to spend $500 on said tablet. But if you do, it's a great choice. It goes head-to-head against the new iPad and offers an Android alternative with some great features. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Keep it locked on there for great prizes and more. Greatest Tech Giveaway Ever 2 is running right now. Be sure to check that out, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Hit me up on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron. Let me know what you think of this device. If you love it, you hate it, you're not a tablet person. In my personal life, very rarely do I find the use for a tablet because my laptop is light enough as it is. But if you are a tablet person, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know which one's your favorite. PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked on the site for more dogfights, because we're going to do some tablet dogfights in the coming weeks, so keep it locked as we go into this holiday season on PhoneDog.com so that you'll know which tablet to buy. We'll see you next time.